conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so it being 6:07 and a quorum being in attendance, we'll call to order this January 7th, 2026 meeting of the Belchertown EDIC. And the agenda has been posted, and we will follow the agenda. And let's see, I think Kirk is going to lead us on part of that. So why don't you just sort of.
Yeah, I'll struggle through it. Yeah, introductions. I'm Kirk Stevens, Chair.
Jonathan Spiegel, Vice Chair.
Hey,
Everybody.
and Bob.
Beth Bernie, treasurer.
I think it's
Cheryl
too
Button,
personal.
member.
And Bob.
Bob Rivard, clerk.
Introductions, that's all.
Introductions.
And we have a select person with us. And Jim Barry, our special assistant, or whatever you want to call him.
On the line, we have Steve Williams and town Steve is our town mayor, manager, and Doug Albertson, town planner, also electronically. Thank you, Steve. Sorry about the intro. Okay. Ta-da.
Ta-da. All right, well, first item is getting caught up on minutes, if we can. Not sure what do we got there, Bob?
So I have this here, which was the exec meeting, but we can't vote that now, right?
We'll do that later, yep.
So then I have the meeting of November 5th, which I believe has not been voted. Is that correct?
Did you vote it at the November 19th meeting?
November.
I don't.
November 20th. Did we vote that on November 20th? Did we postpone? We had scheduled the meeting and we canceled the meeting.
Well,
That was the
December.
December meeting.
that was a
What did I
holiday
send out recently? I
disruption.
sent out something a couple of days ago here.
You sent out the November
Would you-
19th minutes.
November 19th. It wasn't
Right,
the 20th.
so you probably voted the 5th for that.
So we did vote the 5th. Okay.
But not the
all right.
exec.
So I don't have, I don't have
We
copies
didn't have an
of those.
exec.
Right, we had to shelve the exec.
Okay.
Show the agenda, yeah, okay, all right, that's where we stand. So I did submit those minutes.
Okay, good.
Oh, here they are, right there, November 19th, okay. You can get my sticky note on it. Did everyone receive this, Joe?
Yes. Yes, and I read it through and it looked good to me. Did everybody else?
I wasn't here at that meeting,
You
so
weren't,
I
okay.
just do not.
I believe you submitted a written report on that one, which I attached to the back of this.
Yes, it's a report relative to the, from Beth Maroney, relative to the documents you and Cheryl discovered, that you circulated that, and it was in the meeting, so
So we're gonna put Beth down for.
Bob attached it because it was distributed at the meeting.
right.
So we're gonna put Beth down for an abstain since she
Yeah.
wasn't at the meeting. That took place on the.
Correct, we had,
Okay, the rest
but I
of us
believe
were.
Matt was.
So we had 5 of us here. Cheryl, Jonathan, and the 3 of us.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of November 19th.
I'll second it.
I can't vote. I just said I didn't read them. I'm trying to find them to read them. If you want to hand me the copy you got over there.
Yeah, yeah.
You
can
wanna
certainly hand that down. Yeah,
Postpone
yeah,
that
yeah,
vote a
yeah.
little bit, yeah, there you go. That one.
Made in second, however, I will withdraw the motion because we need a majority to approve something.
Why
But
don't
we
you
have-
move on to the next item?
We have
No,
4
While she reads.
But Beth wasn't here, so if Beth doesn't.
4 of the 5 were here.
If,
Right, of the 5. So it is a majority.
but she hadn't read it yet, so she wasn't gonna vote.
Oh.
She's flying through
Just
it.
give it a minute.
Give them a minute to minute.
And by the way, it doesn't matter. You have to have 4,
Yes, exactly, right.
always.
Yeah.
Not,
Not,
even if there were only 3 people at,
right.
if there were only
Well,
4
then we-
people, 4 people have to vote.
We have 7 positions, so 4 has to be the majority.
Suddenly of 6.
You know, we have 4 positions officially. 1 is always vacant or has been. And that's a problem we have to deal with, but we haven't found out a way yet to deal with it.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, then I'll ask to have my motion moved.
Reinstated?
It was to have it voted on, because it was made and seconded.
Yep. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, 401.
401.
Okay,
Well, that was arduous.
Well, I didn't want to vote on something.
Who's on
it's
first?
appropriate. That's good.
Yes. All right, agenda item number 3, site matters. Security and upcoming site activities. I have I finally got some of the work done to board up areas that were problematic on a couple of the buildings. And of course, as we've discussed in the past, since the buildings are so dilapidated, oftentimes the doorways are non-existent and more work has to be done to secure to the brick. So took them a while with another pair of hands, but he got pretty much all of them done. Secured window openings with plywood, which I had scrounged from the remnants of the demolition of the power plant. And a couple of areas that he ended up construction of adhesive on a couple of doors that had been pulled apart. I believe he has one more that he's going to go back and try to get a little more secure, but it doesn't seem to be a problem area. But anyway, so his total of materials and labor for him and the helper was $550. So I put that out to be paid. Answer any questions on it. I've checked everything. It's as secure as can
Can
be.
you at least put his name on this invoice? Like, who is it?
Up top.
That says EDIC Kirk.
Oh, he just, okay. It's the same guy that does the brush hog. Ed Go.
Okay. Well, he should put his name.
Right, well, I told
Or
him that
somewhere, so
he quickly scribbled it out.
Actually,
Ed-
you need a lot more than that. You've got to have his W-9, you've got to have his social security number, and you got to send him a 1099. If you're going to pay him over $600 in a year.
Well, he's been doing the brush hogging. He's usually come in as the lowest figure on that. All right, well, there we go.
Edward Go, G-O.
Yeah, Geo, yeah. All right, well, we need to check into that to see if we need to go through all of that.
You absolutely need to go through all of that.
The checks come from us.
All right, well, whatever,
Mass-
We wouldn't survive an audit.
but
If
be
Mass
that as it may,
Development-
we own that.
Okay, if Mass Development was paying the check, they would have to do all of what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay, how are we gonna figure that out? Who's gonna figure that out?
well, that should be when we talk to the attorney,
Okay,
be one of the other things that we
Okay, yeah, make
talk
a
about.
notation of that, that would be helpful.
Kathy making a note of that?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Even with the, when the town pays somebody, I mean, they can tell you everything you have to do. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, sure.
Talk to the town accountant.
Right.
It won't cost anything.
Right.
Good.
Let's see, it's been a while, so, upcoming site activities. The finishing, all the little things to finish up the cleanup around the power plant. We had to work on it for a couple months to get them back there to get everything done right. I met up with Bob from Mass Development, was overseeing it from Mass Development's status, and he was very frustrated that they hadn't completed everything. I mean, the only thing is basically just cleanup of barriers they had to put up for sediment, stuff like that. So it's, you know, it's very minor. I'm not sure if it was totally done because then the snow flew, and Mass Development would know, because they're supposed to have that totally done in order to get their final payment. I would think that would be incentive enough.
Do
So
we know if they've gotten their?
I don't know. I can ask Amanda or whomever, or Tim maybe, to just find out if everything is completed.
Yeah.
We didn't receive anything that it was signed off on. Anyway, that's pretty much it for site matters. Real estate broker selection process and planning.
We might cover some of that after you do these. And I think do a readout, probably because these things are all linked together.
Okay,
I can do a readout on that recent phone meeting I had,
yeah,
which covers a number of these. Some of it deferred to executive session, but you could do these too. Based on a suggestion that we had to make it clear that members are appointed to do certain functions outside of meetings, et cetera. So Kirk's got a couple of just quick appointments for some of us to put it in the official record.
all right. Guess we're going official here. All right, so the first one, which is in line, hello?
Go ahead, we're okay.
In line with the real estate broker selection process, is Jonathan had come up with to both Elizabeth Maroney and Cheryl Dutton. I hereby appoint you to establish systems for the proper management of EDIC records, and to establish EDIC guidelines and protocols in a manner consistent with state and local laws and regulations. You are asked to recommend to the EDIC resources that might be required to review and maintain all EDIC records and information. All right, you want to elaborate on that, Jonathan, a bit?
Well, it's essentially to do what you guys started doing. Figure out what needs to be done, and if we need more resources to do it, not necessarily do it all yourselves. Make a recommendation if we need some clerical assistance, et cetera. And we'll try to line that up and, you know, figure out what's where and what are the steps we should take. It's essentially what you're doing.
Here, have a copy.
It was suggested that we go through a process of formally indicating to people on the board and elsewhere who's working on what.
But just so you, it's not possible for Beth and I to manage the cleanup of that.
Correct, and
Oh, gosh, no.
if you need some assistance to do that, or bringing in other committees to recommend that. Until it doesn't authorize you to hire somebody, it says, tell the board what's needed. And then the board should support you in making that happen. Yeah. Yeah. There was another one for Matt.
Matt, yeah. So should
We
we,
never did one for the communications. Did you, is there one there?
No, not yet. let's see, where's the one from Matt?
Sure.
Here it is, right here.
Should we do that?
Thank you, Matt.
Is Matt on here now?
No, he's not, but I told him about this, this afternoon. I talked with him
Okay.
about it today.
Should we do it?
And this
when
is
he
essentially what he
present?
agreed. Yeah. He
I mean-
doesn't have to be present to do this because he's already agreed to do this.
Okay,
This is just officially, unless you want to wait. We've got some stuff coming towards us pretty quickly that he's ready to step forward and work on.
all right, well, I can certainly,
Go ahead and read it to us.
Yeah.
excuse me?
Read it to us.
Yes, exactly. Okay, to Matthew Jackson, member, EDIC. I hereby appoint you to act as the board's real estate marketing process manager with responsibility to establish EDIC guidelines and protocols for working with selected real estate agents and officials for communication with and tracking of parties expressing interest in the EDIC properties and to distribute appropriate information to members and other officials or appropriate parties. I further appoint you to set and participate in meetings with town, state, and other officials and interested parties relating to the listing and sale of EDIC properties and to communicate with them in writing and electronically about these matters as appropriate. Okay, Matt, it's all yours. Oh, maybe he's on the phone.
Yeah, it could be, but I don't know how to bring that in.
Yeah.
Anyway, I said essentially the same thing with my conversation with him this afternoon.
Yeah.
And he readily agreed he would do this. This is what we discussed at an earlier meeting to help us appropriately respond and to interact with agents and interested parties and set up for us some protocols for what works, what doesn't, what's confidential, et cetera. Only some of us having that kind of experience in real estate, the rest of us having other kinds of experience. And then there's one more of these, which.
Yeah, for you, Jonathan. I hereby appoint you to act as the board's meeting manager with responsibility to set, host, communicate, and conduct meetings of EDIC and to distribute appropriate information to members and other officials or appropriate parties. I further appoint you to set and participate in meetings with town, state, and other officials and interested parties relating to the business and projects of the EDIC, and to communicate with them in writing and electronically about these matters. All right,
So it's kind of what I've been doing.
is there a sword to anoint you? or
No,
not?
thank you, please. You with a sword is a frightening
Frightening?
image. Okay,
Suggest that copy is still to Bob, make this meeting.
yeah, we made some
It's
copies.
a lot easier.
Yep.
to
No, we
take.
have copies of each one of these for Bob. Okay. All right, having done that, I guess the next thing has to do with.
Well, that's yours.
Right, oh, I need one from the original one.
One from Matt.
Do you want signed copies?
No.
He doesn't need it.
Okay.
For me, but it wouldn't.
This
hurt.
one is Matt.
Go ahead.
That's Beth. Yeah, these are extra copies. Okay.
Alrighty.
So I suggested we do 4, 5, and 6, kind of lump them together because a part of all of that will be deferred into executive session. So if I may, I would report on.
Please do.
Recent discussion I had with Mass Development and at the request of the board raised several issues and to move forward some progress. The first topic I discussed with them was the status of Sydney Capital, our former developer, who the agreement with Brissa. Sydney Capital is a sub-partner of that. Having been determined to be no longer in force as a result of some of the partners who were the owners of the agreement with Mass Development and us having withdrawn their participation. And our decision, along with Mass Development, to see whether or not Sydney Capital would like to propose something that we would be able to work with, and Mass Development would be able to work with, in a new partnership with a new partner called NHP Foundation, and to present that idea, those ideas to us at a meeting of the board, public meeting of the, a meeting of the board on January 21st. And Mass Development has been working to establish that with Sydney Capital, Ahmad Graham, and our decision was to see whether or not, in combination with NHP Foundation, something could be presented to us that would allow the town to move forward soon, utilizing the 4 years of work we have put in already, almost 4 years, to see whether or not an approach would be presented that would satisfy the town, the EDIC, Mass Development. And that is intended to be it's the subject of their presentation to us on January 21st, without any guarantee of whether or not we, the town, or Mass Development would accept it, but just to offer them the opportunity as someone we have worked with over the years to present to us whether or not, to present to us what their ideas might be, without guarantee of anything, of any agreement prior to hearing what that might be. We would then discuss that in depth and take whatever measures necessary to consider those ideas and make a decision. I made it very clear to Mass Development, and they understood, they have similar questions, that we would not move forward in a way that we have up to this point in time. And we would want to see something that really would benefit the town and be feasible and be something that we could see realized fairly quickly. Mass Development understands that. There'll be a little bit more about that in the executive session because some of it has to do with negotiation positions. And I'll share that with the board in executive session this evening. Ben talked about the appraisal of the property. As the board indicated, there were some mixed feelings about whether or not we should even have to do an appraisal. Mass Development felt very strongly about that. They wanted the appraisal to cover the Carriage Grove main campus and felt that that was going to happen. They identified an appraiser. However, the appraisal will not happen until the spring. No set date. Apparently appraisers, commercial appraisers, work that way with their calendars. And that's the nature of a commercial real estate appraisal. I expressed the desire of the meeting to have that happen much sooner, if it was going to happen at all.
Did you say who the appraiser is?
He did not say who the appraiser was.
Did they say who was gonna pay for the appraisal?
They are gonna, well, it's gonna be on our tab. I mentioned that. Do we need that?
Yeah.
Their feeling was it was an important piece both for whomever might be the real estate agent and whomever, and the sales process. That,
Completely, you know.
yeah, I expressed our reservations about that. and they were gonna do it anyway. Well, let me not say it that way. They explained why it was important from their perspective to do it, why it was their practice as a state agency to do it, and that they were gonna move that forward.
I don't see how it can be anything but a hypothetical
I,
appraisal, so.
yeah, first of all, appraisal is good in a window of time, a very brief window of time, I might add. The buyers pay for appraisals. It's the buyers who gets financing. That's their obligation. That's not ours. A broker does not need an appraisal. A broker goes and does the same comps, all the same work the appraiser does. They just don't get paid for it until they sell the property. So there's no expense. Mass development should not be incurring an expense that we did not vote to incur, and it's not cheap.
Oh, exactly. Commercial appraisal.
I don't see how they can oblige us to that.
I just don't see what benefit it's gonna
There's
provide.
none.
at all, because it's
And
gonna
all
be a
it
total
does-
hypothetical, and
And it's
anyone who
erase the
comes in,
process.
anyone who comes in, they can't even give us a per acre price, like, I don't see how they, it's not like, I don't know, it's, you don't
I
even appraise
expressed-
your house before you put it on the market,
I
right?
expressed these issues to them in the conversation.
Mhm.
And they clearly stated that this was their practice. They felt it was important.
Well, they should pay for it then.
We can have that discussion with them. I raised it. There was no conclusion about that. And it's not yet happening, so I think we can raise that with them. But that's where that part of the discussion wound up, and I'm reporting what they said, what they
Yes.
intend to do.
I know,
Yeah.
because we got the readout, so I read, and
Yeah.
I'm saving it for tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
And even,
I
before
hear you.
they're all sitting here. in
And these
front of us.
issues have been raised in our meetings before, and I communicated those.
And it delays the process considerably. This town is on fire today with the tax bills. On fire.
I'm not finished reporting out, so I would like to do that because I think there's other things. So I built upon their answer about the appraisal. And as I said, I strongly expressed the town's frustration in how all of this was moving forward, the time it was taking, and the desire of the town, the BEDIC, the Board of Select Board, and other interested parties to see action starting to happen on the property. And I told them that BEDIC was ready to move forward in marketing parcel B, which is the parcel on Route 202, and parcel D, which is the larger parcel on Route 21. And that we were going to do that by,
B is the small parcel you're talking about?
yeah.
Right. Yeah, next to Crispy's.
And it's the one that Doug has been working on to get aligned with the trails, et cetera, one next to Crispy's. And that we were going to move forward with that marketing and sale. We had a discussion in the phone call about whether that was part of the original agreement with Mass Development. I indicated I believed it was not. They double checked in real time on the phone, and it was not. Those parcels are not.
Yeah, I always remember Claire stating that they had no interest in that parcel D.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a step in the conversation. And they agreed that we could do that. And I indicated that the board would begin the process of hiring a broker for those parcels and move forward as soon as we were ready to have them listed. They agreed, and they agreed to support us from the sidelines and not that we would do that. I was going to say to not be involved, but
So does that mean any sale proceeds are ours?
no.
No.
We don't know the answer to that, Beth. That's one thing to be explored.
I think, no, I think that it was, I remember reading it in the memorandum of agreement. I think anything
Anything, any
in
sale
the
or
state
rent.
school that sells,
Yeah, sale or rent. Yeah.
which is fine.
That was part of the
As
original
long as we
agreement.
get something going there. that's
Exactly.
all.
We just
So
have
it's going to be up
focus
to us, and I shared all of this with Matt, alerting him to the fact that we were ready as soon as we make a decision here to do that, we should take a vote to do that. I'm just reporting out on what the meeting was with them. Matt would be ready to start a process for us, getting organized to both to identify a broker, to figure out how and what to list, and the sequence to doing that, and guide us through our roles so that we can do this in a proper manner. It's likely that these two parcels would appear on the market, perhaps in sequence. Maybe the smaller parcel first. It's virtually ready in terms of its definition, boundaries, etc. Mass Development is still working on parcel D documents, but that'll be up to.
I'm sorry, so parcel B, have we finalized what's going to the trail that Doug was looking for?
There is a description of that. Doug and Steve are going to have a conversation about whether or not it makes sense to try to allow for that signaled entrance or not. There may be something else, but that's just going to be planning, and Steve is intimately aware of the, he designed and did the construction of that intersection, so nobody better to take a look at whether or not it's feasible in order for us to offer it properly on the market. That they're going to do that this week.
Right.
They're going to look at it this week. So that is the readout from my conversation with them. So I entertain questions about.
Right. And also, Doug had some money left on the trail allotment that he was putting towards getting that officially surveyed off from the rest of the strip that we own along there.
Right.
Because in doing so, then it'll be a two-stage process. The rest of it, we are going to be giving to the town to go with. It's just the strip along there.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll leave us with, what Doug had estimated was approximately 30,000 square feet of usable land, which should be plenty for a small business.
I can add to that. The surveyor is set to go out and do all that. And so he understands it has to meet all the zoning and stay clear of the flagged wetlands and stuff like that. And it's all within the original budget of the Lake Wallace Foley Field survey. So
Right. Now, when Crispy's.
Do you know when that's happening?
What's the timeline, Doug?
he didn't really say. He's got to see what his crew's schedule is and get them out there to.
Like in a week, in a month, in 3 months, like.
Could be, I would think they'd want to get it done within a month. It's pretty simple.
Well, we should be able to market it without the official survey.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Because
still
that
market
does-
it, and if anybody showed up interested, you just say, well, it's going to be this eventually,
Right.
because that's
Now
all they're
what-
going to be interested in anyway.
When Crispy's was parceled off, does their deed have a restriction for the trail? Or
There is an easement for the
Easement.
trail.
Right.
And unfortunately, there was also the trail easement drawn on a plan, and it does not correspond to where the trail was built. So I still need to go back to them and renegotiate that, but that's immaterial to your parcel effectively.
Okay.
I mean, you can pass this around if anybody wants to look at it. We've received that in the past. That's your satellite picture with the lines on it, Doug, for the.
Yeah, the real lines will be different, but it's the general idea.
Right. Okay,
Jonathan, you were conversation?
yes.
Phone call. Did you, in the same line of finances, did you touch upon the fact that they have not, when can we expect the financial reckoning from them in writing?
No, I did in writing to them in anticipation before the meeting. But the meeting was scheduled to go 30 minutes and we spent an hour and 30 minutes at the end of the day. Robert Jenkins joined us, and these were the issues that were top of our list from going in. We are following up on that, and in our executive session, I would like to talk about a negotiating position we might consider to look at that.
And just again, pointing out, before we're in executive session.
Right.
And other thing, that, it's, first of all, we need to somewhere in our, I don't even, the bylaw says we can borrow money and do all of that. Remember, we found those in the thing, and actually the law, 121C says we can do that.
Right.
But then the bylaws talk about the process. But I don't know, have you looked over our MOA with Mass Development to see if they have the right to incur debt on our behalf that we don't want to incur?
That's not specified in the agreement, the MOA, or any of the extensions. What is in the agreement, in the MOA, is the statement about what those sums would be and where they would come from. They're called expended funds, and they are the portion of the cost of any of the work they've done for us that is a result of their staff time, their engineers, etc., working on our projects that are the amounts not funded by the grants or the allocations we received.
Yes. So, yes, so their hourly rates, whatever they are.
Whatever they are, and there is a schedule of those that was published for us in the original agreement, I believe.
In the original, but
Yeah.
not valid.
That's 12
today.
years ago, 30, exactly, right, but that was, and to my knowledge, not having been updated.
Right.
For those hourly rates.
But that doesn't include like outside contractors, them hiring.
Correct.
outside people on
Correct.
our behalf that we would be responsible to pay for.
Correct, those were hired from the grants that we received from the state or the federal government. And if they had an engineer, like they had, what was his name here for years?
Kendall.
Kendall. One of their engineers overseeing the work being done by the contracted parties. That would be what they would charge us as expended funds.
But it's their own, again.
Their own person.
Right.
Correct.
So I think that that's a question that we need to be clear on going forth. I mean, this just happened to come up, but as our agents that we signed, that even though they said that they would do what we wanted to, kind of looks like that's not happening. Do they have the right in that contract to spend money that we don't want to, and thereby incur debt for us?
I don't recall, I would have to read all of the agreements again. It's a good question. I'll make note to do that. I don't recall any passage which said that they have a right to expend funds we don't want them to expend.
But I have a feeling there's something in there that says it's their discretion.
It
I would
is, yes,
almost
that's
bet
correct.
that any of the expenses that are out there to work on this project are probably at their discretion.
Mhm.
I wouldn't see them
Right.
doing it
Correct.
any other way.
Correct, but it doesn't specifically mention funds. It talks about activities and projects and
Right.
agreements and so on.
I'm sure it would include expenses related to.
I'd like to-
I'll look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll look at that.
I
In
think
fact,
we
I'll,
need an official readout.
if I have it, I'll
from them on
I'll
that.
send all of that to
Yeah.
everybody again on the board.
I would be very surprised if there is not something in there. They would not leave themselves open to that.
You're right.
Yeah.
They would not leave themselves open to
No,
that.
no.
But all I was referring to was a specific statement about expend funds. I don't, I'll look for that. I have been asking for that at least 4 times a year, sometimes
Like,
in monthly sequences, and
I can almost guarantee you there's been
yeah,
no-
so
No.
I'd
regular-
like to bring this back up in
I
executive
can't get
session.
that. We've had changed hands of people so many times.
Yep. I would like to bring it up in executive session because there may be a, anyway, having said that, I'll
And
just
is,
move
I
on.
thought Amanda was not gonna be our.
Correct.
contact anymore, but is she still right now? Or I heard you met with her.
She is working collaboratively with Timothy.
I mean, I know they can't help it, people move on, but unfortunately, we've changed hands so many times.
Yeah, I know. It's
So
disappointing.
you never know who's doing what, and things get lost in the shuffle.
Correct, and things like writing out the amounts of money and creating that spreadsheet, which they should have been following all along. They should have had an active spreadsheet going with monthly reports being added into it.
Right, it's like an accountant or a lawyer keeping track of their time.
Yeah, exactly, and they
I can
do
almost
that.
guarantee you they haven't been
They do it
doing
by the minute in law firms.
Which is why they haven't responded.
Right, they can't.
So,
And then as far as funds, I had replied to you that Robert never answered me. We need his permission to be able to engage this lawyer. We can't start incurring fees and then they say, no, you can't pay for that.
do we have a
They-
legal line item in our budget?
That is like a couple $1,000s, but anything out of that, they're supposed to agree to. And I'm sure this is not gonna be cheap, but we need them to agree to that before we start incurring legal fees. So
Okay, so-
when I had reached out to him and Amanda initially, she replied that she thought it was a good idea, but would defer to Robert. He never answered me.
Okay. Let's continue this in the executive session so that we may come to an agreement amongst ourselves around a strategy for negotiating this and responding to this. That's my suggestions. We do have, all right, just let that go in executive session. Okay. Back to the agenda then. That's the readout from the meeting I had. And given that we now are clear that we can go ahead and begin the process of marketing and selling those 2 lots. Would it be a good idea this evening to take a vote to authorize Matt to begin the process of bringing to us appropriate agents and process for doing that? So that we actually take an action. I mean, it's one of our legitimate activities to buy and sell properties. And we now have a green light. We don't have an impediment to do that. What do you think?
But yes, even, Matt himself, he wants to see signs on the property. We all do.
Yeah.
So yes, if you feel that the vote is required to do that.
I think so. I mean,
I wasn't sure it wasn't handled with the memorandum and he just brings it forward.
yeah, I think we need to take a vote
Okay.
to authorize the beginning of the sales process, and which includes let me make a motion to that effect since I got it in my head.
Can I just interject here?
Please.
It seems to me that in order to prevent anyone seeing this as a personal contact between an active real estate agent and an individual that's gonna market the property, that we need to invite people to come to this board to give us a proposal for how they would market the property for us. And we would make a selection on the basis of 2 or 3 presentations and not take a single recommendation from any member of this board that says, I know this guy, he's gonna do a good job, vote yes.
And such a person might do a good job, but it's not.
It might do a good job, it might be an
You're
excellent
suggesting
job, but in
a
terms
process.
of, arm's length, nobody's gonna point a finger at us saying, you picked the wrong guy, or you picked the only guy.
Or favoritism, or, Yeah.
or, you know, there's
Other
something.
members, what do you think?
If he's not wrong, but it can't be endless. Like we found out when only one person replied to the RFP the last time with mass development, with Mr. Casey. You know, because it was the only reply we got. So we have to put a time limit. That can't be, oh, you have to wait until we have 3. We've got to have a time thing. We can invite somebody to
Time
present
sensitive, yeah. I can
by
agree
this
with that.
date. You know, he is right. We shouldn't, you know, just say, oh, well,
Right.
but it should be based,
Good.
you know, on a record of success.
Okay, not wrong.
Usually it's in the planning board office. Usually,
Okay, so we could encourage him to bring that as soon as possible. Establish,
Well,
I
I
think one of
think
the
that-
ideas was to establish a proper process.
Right,
correct.
right. And I think you're not engaging him to decide who the broker is. You're
Correct.
engaging him to bring
Create
brokers.
the
Bring,
to us, so-
bring to us, as Bob was suggesting.
Right.
Seems like we all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, would the process be that he reaches out?
He's gonna have to
Like
figure out
you
an
had
appropriate
pointed out,
process.
You know, it's like, okay, we'll put an RFP out, and that was their time lapse, and then one person comes back, and it's just like, well, there's another 2 months gone. You know, so I'm wondering
We are
if,
not, we're an autonomous corporation, we're not required to put out an RFP.
no, I know we aren't.
But Matt can certainly,
For certain.
you know, Matt knows every commercial agent, the way Bob does, the way you know, we know who they are. Just find out who's interested, have them come forward with a proposal. What would you do? What's your plan? You
Right,
know, come in, and if you are interested, you gotta get it to us in 30 days.
Yeah, and we can,
That, you know what I mean?
Ask him to bring
That's
to
what I'm
us.
saying, you know, yes, bring them to us, but here's your
yep,
scope of time.
do we have to have,
one
do we
agent,
have to list with a broker? Can't we just say, here, these properties are for sale, go for it, bring us some buyers?
Yes, we have to list with the broker.
We do.
Not one of us has kind of time to manage a commercial sale. Or, I mean, it just, even the
Yeah.
knowledge base.
that would be difficult, yeah.
And that, quite frankly, was a mistake EDIC made the first 20 years of existence. Thought they could do it on their own. And
we tried, that's right.
wouldn't pay a broker.
No, I don't think that was the issue. I think the issue was just simply we thought we could do it on our own. It wasn't about paying a broker. No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Well, for some maybe. Anyway,
And at certain times that.
okay, so let's see if I've captured this and I'll make a motion, Bob. We want Matt to bring to us in as soon as possible, a
List.
group of
Interested, right. Don't
candidate,
Place a number on it.
okay, good, candidate brokers, commercial brokers, to be reviewed by the BDIC and selected based upon recommended qualifications that would, and their presentations. And we'll have to have a contract with a broker. I'm sure the broker will have a contract, but we have to look at. And to establish a process for broker selection and management of the sale of parcel B and parcel D,
Correct.
owned by the BDIC. That pretty much covers it.
Second.
Okay. So
Got all that, Bob?
I can real quick.
It's recorded
Would like Mr. Matt Jackson to bring as soon as possible a group of candidate brokers to be reviewed on presentation to this board and establish a process for a selection and take a vote.
Can we insert commercial?
or
We're not just brokers.
Yeah, commercial broker.
commercial.
Brokers.
Oh, commercial brokers,
That's what I
all
said. I
right,
did
yeah,
say that,
absolutely.
And the second part was then to establish a process leading to the
To
sale,
establish a process,
leading,
broker selection,
and then follow that to establish a process leading to the sale, for us, leading to the sale of the properties. So that we are participating in the proper way and And Matt has already, I shared with him that this was going to be on our agenda tonight. He might even be on listening by phone. But he was very willing to do this.
So we're talking about the property behind Crispy's and parcel D.
Correct. Parcel B is the one by Crispy's. B is in boy.
But
That's the one.
the only one.
Yeah, it's just
It's
also-
both.
a
It's
1
both.
acre parcel.
And D, and
Oh,
B and
oh,
D.
and B and D.
B and D.
D will be obviously the critical one because there's a lot going into that to make
Okay.
that happen.
So
That's the
there's
motion.
Second from Cheryl.
Second from
I
Cheryl.
second it.
Okay. Any other further discussion? Any other input from anybody on this?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0-0. What I did in the meeting, once they told us about the appraisal, was to then ensure that coming out of the meeting, it was clear we were going to go do this. That I used their sense of authority around the appraisal. And I moved directly from that to stating that we were going to move forward on this and what were their thinking about it, what participation did they want to have. And this was the sense of the board and the select board that I understood, and I went into the meeting with that in mind. Okay. Wow.
Moving on.
See if we've got anything else on here. Communication planning, do we need anything else on that?
Other than we're gonna have to need a memorandum like that.
Okay, yeah,
And go
For-
through,
okay,
because we've done the 2 articles, the 2 write-ups that Kate had worked with Steve on, which was, getting it out there for what the explanation is. We're working on the social media thing, Kate.
Yeah.
Working on what's the plan,
Right.
to be doing that. These are all excellent steps moving forward, because certainly even writing about this.
Yeah.
We could put something out there that, for publication, that if you're interested,
yes,
because-
Absolutely.
Because we're beginning the process,
absolutely.
to step forward, or do you want to be added to the list of people to be contacted by the broker if you are interested? We can do something that lets everybody know we're moving forward.
This doesn't have to be done at a meeting.
No.
But I'll get that to Kirk. I typed up these little things and I'll get that to Kirk tomorrow to get to you.
Mhm.
'Cause he doesn't have to be at a meeting to do this.
No.
Again, a reminder, parcel B on 202 is likely to be ready for sale sooner. Parcel D is still undergoing work. There's an extension of the grant we received. And Ty and Bond now has a scope of work. And the town has received an agreement from Mass Development to utilize the remaining funds. Kirk, what was the number you had?
119,000.
And most of that is for design work and wetlands delineation and the survey of the corner that the town is going to provide for squaring off the property.
That should not impede the process, just the way anything is. You can say containing more or less this amount of things, boundaries to be determined,
Right.
because then
Correct.
obviously when you get that person on who's interested, then we gotta start
This is
jumping
the
through
stuff
hoops
that-
very.
Right, I just mentioned that because one will have fewer of those to be determined attached to it than parcel D will. Parcel B is almost ready to go. Both will require a town meeting vote for the exchange of land. And we intend to provide the rest of parcel B over to the town for inclusion in the Lake Wallace recreation area and for the trail. And the intent is for the town to provide back to, not quid pro quo, but to transfer to the town the 10 acres at the back end of parcel D to square that off and make it much more useful. Both of those have to go through town meeting for approval. That'll be a step.
Steve,
The way this was parceled off, basically, this goes and down to nothing.
yeah,
So basically, we're just saying, okay, we can use this, and the rest of it will just go to the town. Yeah.
I'm totally aware of that.
Yeah.
As well as we're gonna do similar things.
Steve's still on.
Steve. His mic is on.
Ta-da.
Does, in the event, when the wonderful, happy, great news, we have a buyer, they want to buy it. Can we have a special town meeting for the town to transfer, or do we have to wait for an annual?
Oh, boy. I mean, we don't even have an approved survey or plan yet, so that's a tough one to answer, but
Right.
But we do need to know if it can only happen one day a year.
I mean, it's really up to the select board, and if they want to have a special, they could.
But that's a cost.
Yeah. So I
Legally,
guess it does depend on
you
the-
can call it special whenever the select board chooses.
Yeah, but it's up to them.
Yeah, we had been talking, I had even talked, there used to be something that you, certain things like zoning and stuff, you could only do at an annual. But I think that that's practice and not law.
There might be. There's not, I don't think there's a list of that, no.
No.
You're required to have an annual town meeting and you're allowed to have other town
Yeah.
meetings.
Yeah, I don't think
It's a
that
cost.
the transfer of that property would be limited to an annual only. I think it can happen to a special. But whether or not the select board would try to call a special just for one article, that's, hard to say.
I would think cost fact would be the big factor.
Mhm. I guess it depends on the buyer too.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We need to,
Right.
we need to know what hoops we have to jump through.
Right, and we also need
To get a buyer.
right, and I would imagine our not yet found agent would also want to,
They want to know that.
yes, exactly.
Right. So you
Okay,
need,
well, those are steps, there are steps. That's all we're doing is enumerating some steps here
Yep,
yeah,
that are going forward. So, yes, go ahead.
yeah. Step one is to get the survey. Step two is to get the planning board to sign off on the plan, create the boundaries. And then if there's a buyer available, we can certainly present that to the select board.
But even if there's no buyer, select board can effectuate the transfer of the land to and from, accepting land and transferring land to the BDIC without the buyer knowing yet.
yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can go to a town meeting to do that, yes.
Yes, exactly. Right. It's not dependent on a buyer
No.
being in hand, although that would, hopefully we're gonna have
It's
that.
just around the corner,
Anyway,
considering there's a list of things he's gotta do.
it does take time, but they're in process. They are working. So even on parcel D, we have a clear agreement that the select board, Steve and Doug are looking at the document now.
So what's the timing to make sure it makes it to the May meeting? to get all
Steve's
these
gonna look
steps
at
done?
that, right, Steve?
Well, I think you probably have until April or so. I think it more dependent on how long it's going to take the surveyor to get you a plan that can be endorsed by the planning board.
And
Yeah,
that's
parcel-
what Doug just said is should happen
Within a month.
within this month.
Yeah, I would say, certainly by the end of February. 'Cause they don't have to do too much.
For parcel D, all that's needed, the survey exists, all that's needed is one pin at the corner to define the piece that the town will transfer to the BDIC.
Oh, so we need.
The
to
rest of the
propose parcels.
survey, yeah, but
So we're getting a vote on both parcels.
it would be good to have them both at the same town meeting. If
Aren't we donating land to the town though?
We
on
are
parcel
donating
B?
from parcel B, and
So
we,
that doesn't need a town meeting.
That
does
does
it?
not need a town meeting.
town doesn't need to
Nope.
accept it?
Nope.
The select board and conservation commission accept that.
Okay then,
It's a donation, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a 10-acre piece that
okay,
has to
So
go
it's just the
that.
parcel D piece that needs to be approved, because the
Right.
town is
Good.
giving the land to EDIC.
okay. All right. We've cleared everything we can in public session.
Right,
Okay, let's move it.
So under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 2.1, subsection 6, the open meeting law, we're going to adjourn to an executive session to discuss and negotiate terms and conditions of pending proposals and contracts. And we will not return to the regular session at the end of the executive session. And all votes will be roll call votes in the executive session.
I'll second that.
And then it's been made and seconded. We're going to go around and take a full roll call vote. Cheryl?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
yes.
Kirk, yes. Jonathan, yes?
Yes.
All right, we are in an executive session and we have a special portal, which I hope Doug and Steve have received to sign on to on GoToMeeting. I'm going to turn that on and turn this off, right?
Was she
The,
CTV on? Was she there?
It should be on.
end the recording.